Ladies and gents, this is the following about nutritional healing element. So I covered already GMO and some other detail, how to preserve a food in a natural way with the vinegar, lemon juice, fresh one, and salt. This is the natural way, and how to preserve it if it's cooked in the glass container, which can you are able to seal on the top. So if you are not sure about it, so you can go back to that video and all the details in there. I show you in action. It's not just the talking. This way you can learn better. So today the subject is how can we recognize organic or quality ingredients, which according to my research, I go to supermarket and I ask people. This has been almost for 15 years. I would say majority of people don't know, regardless of how educated they are, engineer, even doctors, they have no idea about how to inspect the ingredient in organic store or in an ordinary typical supermarket. And all they check is a nutritional chart, not the ingredient section. Nutritional chart is going to look very good, even if that food is a junk food. How? Nutritional chart is going to say this food has no cholesterol. Sounds good. Wow, this one has no cholesterol. And but instead of lard or pig fat, they put palm oil. Lard has a lot of cholesterol, but palm oil has no cholesterol. To a doctor or a academic or an academic physician, this sounds really good. But that particular food, which instead of lard has palm oil, that particular food is one of the main elements of heart attack or brain stroke, because palm oil is much worse than LDL cholesterol in a lard or in beef or butter and things like that. Why? Because if it's a lard or butter, if you eat cacao or dark chocolate or coffee or walnut, is going to dissolve it easily and comes out. Just like 100 years ago or 400 years ago, people would eat butter every day. The heart attack age was 8 years old. But these days, I've seen people with the 30 years old or 35 years old gets heart attack, and they either survive or they die. The main reason of it is this industrial oil. And not only saturated with hydrogen, but also is GMO. So is worse and in worse, 2 times worse. Okay, so that was the important part. So that how we can recognize the good ingredients. So nutritional chart is not the primary thing to check, is a secondary. So primary is ingredient, which 90% of people, according to my research, they don't look at the ingredient at all. Those who really want to pay attention, they look at the nutritional chart. How much sugar is in it, how much fat is in it, and such. But as I brought the example, that confuses people, and they buy the worst product. I've seen many people buy margarine, and they are educated, they are doctors, and they buy margarine and they say, oh, this is vegan. Not every vegan thing is good. Nutrition is a science. It's not like you Google something and you just follow that. Just like you cannot Google and you fix your car. So you have to study an auto mechanic book. Then you may, then you, after that, you have to work under a mechanic, and if you have any, then they help you to learn. And okay, let's move on. How we can check it? It must have, if you buy any vegetable or any fruit, it must have seed inside. If it's a lemon, it should have seed. If it's a watermelon, it must have seed. If it's orange, must have seed. If it's grape, must have seed. If doesn't, that means most likely is GMO. And another item, if it's a zucchini, peach, of course the peach, I haven't seen seedless one, but they do something else with it, which I'm going to explain. If you are going to buy a peach or zucchini or almond, it should be fuzzy. If it's a almond, the actual almond without the shell, when you touch it, it should have a little bit of brown powder cover it naturally. Okay? If it's peach, the peach has to have fuzz over it. If you see there is no fuzz, most likely it's GMO. If it's zucchini, when you touch the surface, it should have like a kind of being fuzzy. It should be fuzzy. If it's smooth, most likely it's GMO, and the GMO one or the non-organic, the taste is tasteless. Unless you put a lot of seasoning in it, then you may get some taste, but that taste is just a seasoning. You don't get any flavor from zucchini or the almond or peach. The organic peach, which is fuzzy, and they pick it on the right time, not too early, the taste is heavenly. It has a flavor, it has a very good smell. You just enjoy eating it. So you can eat it 1 kilo of it and you don't feel like heavy. But if you eat the GMO one, even after one of them, you feel something alien is in your system. This is the reason these details are important. And so let's make it simple. For example, people ask, does non-GMO necessarily means organic or not? The answer is no. The non-GMO doesn't mean is organic. In order to make it simple, I'm going to bring this up. What is organic? What is organic? Organic means no pesticide. It should be no pesticide on that fruit or whatever plant is, because pesticide, they just spray poison. With the aeroplane, if it's industrial farming, if it's local farming, if they use pesticide, then it's not organic anymore, because that poison or that pesticide goes to the dirt with the rain, or just falls down, goes to the dirt or to the soil, and that comes back into the plant again. Then you're taking a weak poison, which that is an element of a disease. And of course, no GMO, no preservative. If it's a processed food, it should not have any preservative in it. No palm oil in it. So if you get something, it says organic on it, and you read the ingredients, it says palm oil in the list, that means that is a fake organic, and you're paying for you're paying to get sick. So that is important. And no partially hydrogenated oil, because they play with the word. They don't write margarine, they put partially hydrogenated oil. So this phrase is kind of technical. Ordinary people don't know what that means. Partially hydrogenated oil. They say, well, we don't know what it is, so since I don't know, I just buy it, you know. But again, they are paying to get sick. The business name for that is margarine. So margarine is actually hydrogenated oil, okay? And the partially hydrogenated oil is those oil which they write on the top, oil for frying. So it means they pump, is not saturated with hydrogen, is partially hydrogenated. So either one is bad for you, is a weak poison. And no hormone growth, no growth hormone like they put it is in dairy product and is in meat, on all meat, chicken, sheep, cow, pig, because since the animal live in a horrible environment, they get sick easily because of the food is also bad. They live around their own poop. They eat their own poop, like cow and pig do that. So because of that, they have to inject antibiotic every day, or they put it in their food. So, and if it's a fish, if it's a farm-raised fish, most likely it has hormone and antibiotic in it, because they get sick easily because they overpopulate them and they live in a horrible environment. So a fish, just like those chicken, grows very fast. Within a month becomes an adult fish. So, and their meat is like a sponge. So if you squeeze the meat, it just perish in your hand. But if it's a real wild caught fish, you cannot squeeze a fish and it falls apart. So that's the difference. And the taste, of course, is different. Farm-raised fish smells bad. The wild caught, if the water is not polluted, you can eat it raw, just like Japanese people do it with the sushi, because it has no bad smell. But I don't want to go to that detail. Yes. And by the way, about the fish, wild caught doesn't mean it's organic. So if you get the wild caught fish, that's not organic, even though it's wild. Why? I've heard this question before. So why you're not calling this organic? the reason. Because unfortunately it's been almost over 50 years the open waters are polluted all around the world by radioactive, especially by so much pollution in the water from oil spill. Like if you buy any fish in Miami, Florida, that definitely is polluted, is like a poison because of the BP or British Petroleum pollution in the Gulf of Mexico. So if you go there, the water is not clear. If you go to the water up to here, you cannot see your toes. Even 1 meter, you cannot see the bottom of the water. Even in a calm day, which there is no wave. So imagine it's been almost 8 years passed by, but still the pollution is there. Okay, so obviously that's not, if you catch any fish from there and you think it's organic or is wild caught, is a wild caught, but it's not organic and is dangerous to eat it because it has a lot of mercury and a lot of chemical in it. So that's about the fish, because I have to inform you it's not organic. And if it's a meat, the meat, how becomes organic? It means the animal has to be fed by organic grass, fresh grass, not the dehydrated one. Because if it's dehydrated, the affection on the animal body is totally different. Just like you human, you eat the dehydrated parsley and you eat the fresh parsley, the affection on the body is different. This is not a theory, it's a fact, in fact. So that, or dehydrated fruit or a fresh fruit, the affection is different. And that has been proved, it's not a theory again. So, and also, the animal shouldn't be fed by any organ of a dead animal, because in industrial farming, all of the waste part of those animals which they kill to sell it in the market, whatever they cannot sell, like their bone, their guts and such, they grind it with the GMO corn and they feed it back to the animal. And of course, along antibiotic, this way all the billions of bacteria in the gut doesn't make them sick. So, and it has to be free range. It means the cow has to be in an open field to walk around, to do exercise, to run, and they don't walk on their own poop or something like that. So it has to be free range. Just like old days, they would take the sheep to the mountain in the morning, they would bring them back in the evening. That I can call that organic. Otherwise, it's not. Putting all the sheep on the one place and feed them with industrial food, of course, that sheep is gonna get sick, and the meat you get from that sheep is just stinky and makes you feel sick and such. And not hydroquinone. And the vegetable, either the vegetable which they feed to the animal, or the vegetable you eat, if it's planted in the water, because that has been going on for years. They grow lettuce and such in the water, and I ask, okay, where is the food? This is just the water. Where is the mineral? Where is nitrogen and such? They say, oh, we give that, we made it in the lab, or industrial way is like a powder. They put it in the water and that plant is gonna grow. So it's, the plant should not be fed with any chemical food. So I'm sure if you want to eat food, so you want to eat real food, not I put some powder in the water and I said this is a food. Definitely that is like an alien to your body, unless that powder is like a grinded almond, okay, not like some special formula, and which if you read the ingredient you cannot tell what it is, you know, all those special code is on it. And of course if it's artificial food, like artificial color and artificial flavor and such, that's not organic anymore, even though if they write organic on it. I bought a pistachio in a organic store. That was 8 years ago, and they put organic. I said, okay, let's see how it is. That organic tastes like nothing like pistachio at all, but the non-organic one I bought it somewhere else, it had a flavor, like I bought it from Iran. Was not saying organic on it, but the whichever farm came from, it was a good farm, because I would taste the flavor of pistachio and it was so joyful and tasty. But that organic one was not, and by the way did not have a logo of organic on it. So I ate a quarter of it and I took the rest of it back, and they said yes, then we take it back. But after that I didn't buy anything from that store. I found a different store which the pistachio was much tastier and better. So not necessarily everything in organic store is organic unless it has a certification on it. Like if you live in the US, if has must have an organic logo on it, otherwise it's not organic. In the Europe, the best organic brand, or bio they call it, is Demeter. So I don't have anything. The logo is orange color, so it says Demeter also along with that green leaf. It should have these two on it. This is the best organic brand. And if it's Bioland, it's like a medium grade. And if it just says bio, it's like a lower grade. It's not the best one. So that's the detail about the organic brand. Let's see what else. The plant must have about 8 hours of sleep, but in industrial farming they don't. They just shine the light on it all the time to make the plant grow fast and to bring it in the market. This is the reason some fruit or some vegetable you buy is tasteless, because imagine you work 24 hours per day, and if you feel tired or you feel sleepy, they give you Red Bull or Coca-Cola or vitamin powder. Of course you cannot sleep anymore, and you get the false energy, and that is going to take away from you. So sooner or later you are going to fail. So this is the same thing. The plant also need to sleep. This is the reason when it's dark, the plant are asleep. It means they breathe. Instead of photosynthesis, they do breathing. In the daytime or under the light, they do photosynthesis. It means they give oxygen and they take CO2 or carbon dioxide. Okay. But in the nighttime, from under the leaf, they do opposite of it. From beneath the leaf, they take oxygen and they give CO2. So imagine you take that away from them. It's like you choking a plant, just like somebody choke you. So you cannot breathe anymore, so you feel sick, or it's gonna cause probably death if they squeeze hard. So that's the reason the plant should not have any light pollution, we call it. No light pollution for the plant. Then that is one of the elements of organic. And the next item, okay, oxygen, okay. All right. When a plant gets sick from lack of oxygen or lack of nutrition, any mess you do, like for example, hydro farming. So definitely that plant cannot be as strong as the one is organic, because it's like you grow a child with all sausage and hot dog and McDonald's. Obviously that child cannot be strong and is very fragile. It gets sick and gets corona left and right. It gets all kind of diseases, like a type 2 diabetic, for example, which in the US is growing very fast. Type 2 diabetic in children in US they got the higher level unfortunately, because of this industrial food. Okay, oxidation. What oxidation means? It means this happens a lot to the nuts and seeds. For example, if it's a walnut, sometimes it happened a lot. Like in the US, I went to the Whole Food store and I was going to buy organic walnut. They would sell in the container. So I said, okay, I'm going to, I put it in a bag. Before purchasing it, I broke a few of them in half. Then I saw, instead of the center part of the walnut supposed to be almost white or very light beige, instead was dark beige and dead color almost. I said, oh my God, that's, so I called the store manager. I said, do you do any ingredient inspection before you buy tons of them and you distribute in all US? They said, yeah, we do. I said, why? Before I even buy it, it's oxidated. And then after I show it to them, I said, no, this is the way it is. And then I picked a few of them, because from 10 of them, one was not oxidated or was semi-oxidated. I said, this is a non-oxidated, this is the oxidated one. Do you understand what I mean now? I said, oh, that's right, huh? Maybe on the shelf this happened. I said, whatever. It's not good from the first place. So it means that all of them should go to garbage, because 70% of your walnut is oxidated. And you expect me to pay $17 per pound, which is half a kilo. And he said, okay, I'm going to mention it. Of course, they are a big corporation, they don't care, and they just continue doing it. And this exactly happened. A month after I went there to buy something else, I said, while I'm here, I'm going to check that walnut again. That was exactly the same thing. So oxidation happens to walnut, Brazilian nut, almond, pecan, sunflower seed, peanut and pistachio. But how to recognize it or diagnose it is different. Just as I said, pecan and walnut is similar. When it goes to Brazilian nut, when you see the center part of the nut is more bright. When it goes to the outer part of the nut, becomes beige. That means it's oxidating from outside toward inside. That means if you see 1 millimeter, you break it in half, and you see 1 millimeter from the top is oxidated, that means that is not good. It means you're paying to have a bad nut, which gives you nut allergy, which is happening a lot because a lot of oxidated one is in the market. So that was about Brazilian nut. When it goes to the almond, is similar. The center part of it, and sometimes the whole almond from center to top is oxidated. That is absolutely garbage, But the whole thing, it has to be white, from the outside to inside. Same as a walnut, same as in a pecan, it has to be light color and no two color or two tone at all. And sunflower seed is different. You cannot tell almost until you eat. So because of that, I buy almost a very small amount, and then I open the package if it's packed. So I can buy per gram is easier. If I buy and it's good, so I buy more, 1 kilo or 2 kilo, and I store it in my fridge. How? I'm going to explain that later. And peanut, again, it goes by the taste. You cannot tell by the look of it or discoloration at all. So you have to buy or ask to get a sample, like 5 or 10 of them. So you have to eat all of them individually, not together. So if you eat one by one and you swallow it and you didn't get any bad taste in your mouth, that means it's good. But if you eat like 1 out of 5 is bad, it's not worth it to take a risk. And sometimes happen half of it is good, half of it is bad. Like from 10, 5 is bad, that obviously is no. So I go after those which from the 5 or that 10, all is good. Then I buy 1 kilo or 2 kilo because it's hard to find. Then I store it at home in the fridge, not on the shelf. And pistachio. Pistachio is different. Pistachio, you need to break all of those 10 pistachio, let's say, in half, and you must be able to see inside of it. It has to be all light green. If it's not light green, and if it's between green and beige, is still acceptable. But if it's just beige, that is oxidated. Or is a light beige, is oxidated. Or is industrial. So it has to be light green, all of them. All of those 10 has to be like this. Then it's safe to buy 1 kilo or something like that. And sometimes it's light green, but you eat it, tastes like wood. Just like the one I told you, they claimed that it's organic, but it was not. So when it goes to pistachio, it's difficult. I buy almost always a small amount, like 1/4 of kilo, 200 grams or something. If it's good, then I buy 1 kilo. Okay. When it goes to pistachio, if it comes from Iran, is much safer. But if it comes from US, you have to be careful, because the center of GMO product, it comes from Nevada, especially in US. This is the reason when you go to California, or if you fly to US, in airport they don't let you to bring any fruit or any seed, because that seed will be a big competition to their GMO product. So the only country don't let you bring any fruit or seed is US, because US is a center of GMO product. It's very bad. And next, so that was about oxidation, okay? The next item is roasting or over roasting. Imagine you go to a market and you see roasted cashew. Some of them are light color, which is good. Some is like a mix of light and the dark. That's not good. And some is dark, it's like a brown. That is like is almost same affection. You eat the French roast coffee. French roast coffee is like a weak poison. It's like an alien to your body. If you want to drink coffee, of course, that's a different subject, but I'm just doing my best to not to go to detail, at least at this, because the subject is not coffee. That coffee must be light roasted, or worst comes to worst, last option for me is medium roast. My best option is light roasted and organic. Then it has a better flavor and at the same time better affection on your body. But if you eat the dark roast, they call it French roast, you drink French roast coffee, definitely is like a poison to your digestion system at first, then the rest of the body. So any nut you buy, it should be very light roasted. So the best one, it would be just dehydrated. So either salted or unsalted. Very light roast. It means the pistachio didn't turn to beige or brown, same as all other one. And after it's roasted, again, it has to be stored properly. Otherwise, even roasted one is going to get oxidated. Like, of course, roasting is going to prevent oxidation. That's the reason they do it. Like they do it on a peanut, especially. Peanut gets oxidated much faster than walnut even. So from the top, peanut is the number one, gets oxidated very fast and goes bad. Then is walnut, then is pecan, then is Brazilian nut, then is macadamia nut, and then is almond, then pistachio. And the pistachio and almond, they are in the same level almost. But the almond is the strongest one, I would say, is under the pistachio. So, how to store it? It has to be natural way. So there is one way to put mixing with the salt, which light roasted with the salt. But the way I prefer to store the seeds and the nut is without salt, because when we go further, I'm going to show you how to make vegan milk. So if it's salted, then it's not going to be a good milk because it's salty. We don't want that. So when you buy it and you inspect it before you buy, you bring it home, you put it in the machine to vacuum it in a bag. And it's good to have half a kilo bag, not the 1 kilo, because this way you always get it fresh, okay? So every half a kilo you vacuum it and you store it in the fridge. If you want to store a lot of nuts, obviously you need to have a bigger fridge, okay? And you store it on the lower part or doesn't matter which part, but should not be frozen. I think that's enough for now to cover. I don't want it to be a long video. Thank you very much for your time, and if you find it useful and educational, please like and subscribe. This way you will have access to the rest of the video as well. Have a pleasant day and time.